Okay guys, I'm going to do a low budget video to show you don't need to spend a lot of money to do a ABS delete on an FD. This is a project that was brought in to me to put the 2JZ GTE into the FD body, which we have modified the subframe, built custom exhaust, got everything in so far, relocated fuse panels, but today's subject is going to be the ABS delete. The tools that you need are cheap and you can purchase them from Harbor Freight, Pep Boys, or your local discount auto store. These are the tools that you require: a 14mm spanner, a 10mm line wrench, and a regular 10mm to remove whatever bolts are on the body. Okay guys, this is part 2. I've gone ahead and removed the ABS pump and the bracket that holds it, which requires a little bit of fiddling around, but it's pretty straightforward to come out, and I'm looking to delete all of these pipes and start new. We're not going to put a brake bias valve in because this particular vehicle is not going to be raced and it's not going to be driven hard. It's just going to be a daily driver to get from A to B. We will be eliminating all of these pipes that run from left to right and back over again, and we'll be using what came from the factory in order to do our modifications on a budget thing. Okay, this is part 3 of our ABS delete. Now, this particular item just here is going to be reused. That is what is screwed to the top of the ABS pump, and we're going to use that on the other side on the brake master cylinder itself. Now, when you take the pump off, there are 2 different lengths of banjo bolts attached to it. One is single long and the other one is double long. Now, the double long one is what I have in my hand at this moment, which is this one here. Double long with one single hole in it. We will be drilling another set of holes 90 degrees, not too far from the thread, and that's going to give us both outlets for the front brakes. This second one is a single long, which also comes from the ABS pump and only has a single hole in it, which we are going to be eliminating. Okay, there are some small differences between a right-hand drive and a left-hand drive. There are kits available for a left-hand drive, which is not going to work for us with a right-hand drive. So this is why we are going to show you the budget way around doing what you're doing and to keep it safe so you still have good brakes. First thing you're going to be removing is all the brake lines from the master cylinder after you have drained it. The second thing you're going to be removing is this bracket here with the hoses, which serve no purpose at this moment in time, but we will be reusing the ferrules off of this to make up the new brake lines. Okay, the first thing you'll be breaking loose is this 10mm bolt right here and loosening this barrel. This way you can remove all of these lines across the way when you unsnap the plastic clip, which allows you to pull everything out. Okay, here are all the lines and the brackets that go to the brake booster. Okay, it's all been removed, all barring the clutch line, which stays where it is. We are now going to be going into where we need the 2 banjos side by side, which came off the ABS pump itself. And I have one of the units in my hand here where we have to drill a second hole to allow the fluid to pass through this to do what we need to do. Okay, this is the first test fit with the 3 seals for the double long banjo bolt, which is going to supply the front brakes for the left and the right side. On this side, which is the rear brakes, we're going to do one of those banjo fittings as it was from the factory, go round the back and enter the system down here. So the right-hand drive is somewhat different to the left-hand drive, and this is a budget build, reusing as much of the original factory parts as possible. We're going to be rebending some lines and reusing them. We may have to shorten one or two. Okay, here we are. This is the double long banjo bolt, which has the original holes at the top, and then the secondary holes for the second brake outlet. So it's long enough to do. We've done a test fit with it, and the two holes are the same size. So we're going to go and fit this to the vehicle, and this will be the front end completed. We did have to make one brake line so far. This is the two banjo bolts that will be joined together with the seals in between, the crush washers. This is the new line, the first one that goes across to the other side front brake. There will be one more line made from the other side of the brake master, which will then go into the rear brake, which is down behind there. Okay, here is the finished product. Two on one side, one on this side. There are the two that go across. One that goes to the front brakes, which is joined with a barrel, and this one goes down to the rear brakes. This takes around about 2.5 hours to do. Complete. That's removal, making the lines, reflaring, putting back together, 2.5 to 3 hours, and you should be able to do that even as a novice.